Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. New reports from the state's health department explain what caused a surgery backlog at University Hospital in Aurora over the summer.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch starts us off with that tonight. Janelle, investigators found hundreds of trays of unprocessed, contaminated instruments waiting to be sterilized.
Yeah, surgical instruments are supposed to be processed and sterilized immediately, but state health investigators say staff at UC Health University of Colorado Hospital told them some surgical instruments went unprocessed for up to 6 days. The investigation caused the hospital to temporarily suspend elective surgeries, and in some cases, patients were left waiting to be seen.
Colorado's health department found the sterile processing department here at University Hospital was operating in less than sterile conditions this summer. CDPHE began investigating department complaints back on July 14th. In just one observation, the state found 17 carts had between 11 and 30 trays of contaminated surgical instruments. The report says the instruments were, quote, grossly soiled with dry blood and tissue. Within days, the hospital paused all non-emergency surgeries to reprocess hundreds of trays of dirty equipment.
I definitely was upset when it got delayed, but now that we're on the other side of it, I feel really great.
Cora Bank waited 9 months for gender-affirming surgery originally scheduled for July 25th. Due to the sanitation backlog, her surgery was postponed.
And I don't think I got told until like the beginning of September. So then it was a scramble to get all of my medical leave stuff redone.
The state reports after 2 weeks of intensive auditing, the department proved sustained compliance through the first week of September. Bank says she was finally seen September 25th.
Pretty good for being 3 weeks out of surgery.
CDPHE says UC Health's cleanup didn't stop at its tools. The state had hospital staff completing daily cleaning checks and audits, holding meetings to make sure they're not taking on too many cases, and retraining staff members when needed. Now that the investigation is complete, Banks says no one should have to wait for a safe, sterile surgery.
Other trans women that are waiting for that surgery, like once you're on the other side, it's worth it.
During the investigation, UC Health told us they were operating at a reduced capacity. The hospital said it increased the number of staff members to get more instruments cleaned. The state says the hospital is now in compliance and the department is taking no further action. Janelle Finch, 9 News.
A fire broke out in Boulder's Skunk Canyon tonight. Firefighters had to hike to get to it, but it didn't take them long to contain it. They're now mopping it all up. The fire was concerning on a day where winds were whipping across the Front Range. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Let's check in with her now. Kathy, those winds are dying down. That's great news, but now some cold is settling in.
Yeah, it's a crazy time of year when we can kind of go from fire to ice, winds to 75 and 80 miles per hour, and now things will calm down and we're headed for a freeze warning in Denver. The winds continue to decrease this evening after a day with gusts way above 50 miles per hour. How about 75 mile per hour winds? Dangerous, damaging winds up and down the Front Range, the worst of which were felt in Weld County and Larimer County. Temperatures have really cooled down with the passage of that front. We're now 49 in Denver and Greeley, 47 in Fort Collins. Many areas will go into the 20s tonight. Thankfully, the wind is a whole lot lighter, at least along the Front Range, still dealing with gusty conditions east of Fort Morgan and over elevated terrain, but the red flag warning has canceled out, which is great news. We're seeing the storm system lift north and east away from the area. That's allowing for that pressure gradient to ease. So now, clear skies, light winds, good radiational cooling. Temperatures are going to drop tonight. Freeze warning has been posted for Denver, the Front Range, and portions of eastern Colorado for temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. All part of your weather headlines. We're going to detail that with your extended forecast coming up.
Aurora police are now allowed to use facial recognition technology. City Council gave the okay a few hours ago. 5-2 vote in favor of the department using technology sold by Clearview AI. Police say this will help them solve crimes, and they insist it will only be used to guide investigations, that they won't be allowed to detain somebody solely based on an AI facial recognition match. Critics argue the technology does not always get it right and that it struggles in particular to identify people of color.
2 women were hit and killed in the street last night in Centennial. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says it looks like they were crossing East Smoky Hill Road to try to get to a bus stop.
9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj joins us now from Centennial, where Shalima, you've spent the day looking into safety in that area.
Yeah, we did. We're just here at South Waco, and this is where that crash happened around 10 o'clock last night. We were speaking with people who live in the area who say that this intersection is problematic for a number of reasons. Now, earlier on, we got a chance to witness for ourselves just how busy the area does get. It's also extremely dark at night. In fact, some stretches around here don't even have street lamps. Now, there is a school nearby and public swimming pool as well, and some parents told us they feel nervous about their kids crossing here. The nearest set of traffic lights is actually around half a mile away, and one woman we spoke to says her husband's car was hit just as he was pulling out onto the road here, and ever since, she avoids this area.
Called and he's like, okay, I got into an accident, and of course I knew he had all the kids, so I just, it got me scared at first. I will go straight down, go down to Telluride where there is a light, or I will take the neighborhood up through here and hit Tower to go to Smoky Hill, to turn left when I can just do it right here, literally. I will drive a whole mile and a half around.
Now, the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office tells us that the driver in this particular crash stayed on scene. He was released pending possible charges. Now, there was another crash here just last summer, and that involved a motorcyclist that was killed. And in fact, you can actually still see there is a makeshift memorial just beside us. Live in Centennial, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Denver police are asking for your help tracking down a truck involved in a hit-and-run crash. DPD and CBI are looking for a gray GMC truck like the one you see right here. They say it took off after hitting a motorcycle around 6:45 Friday night on Alameda near Zuni. The rider was on the bike was seriously hurt in this crash. Police say the 2015 Sierra truck has a Colorado license plate of EFC I-90. It has some damage to the passenger side truck bed and the bumper area. So if you see the truck, go ahead and give Denver police a call.
The NTSB is investigating damage to the windshield of a United flight that took off from DIA. Our 9 News aviation expert Greg Feith says it's highly likely that plane was hit by space junk. That's the technical term. 134 passengers were on that Boeing 737-8 as it headed to LA last Thursday. The plane was over Utah when it was struck. A Regis University student on that flight tells us the pilot got on the intercom and told passengers a window in the cockpit had shattered. Now, this passenger never saw the damage herself, but photos were posted to social media, and the pilot ended up with injuries.
It's scary, and the fact that he was able to come on the intercom, give that announcement, and remain so composed and so calm, I think really is what kept all the passengers out of a state of panic.
Flight diverted to Salt Lake City. Passengers went on to LA on a different plane later that day. United points out the windshield has several layers designed to function safely in case one of the layers is damaged. While the likelihood of space debris hitting a plane is very low, a study released this year in the paper Scientific Report says there is a growing risk. Researchers at the University of British Columbia say that's because there's more satellites and rockets being sent into space, and parts and pieces eventually come back to Earth.
Denver plans to create a new online parking ticket review program after budget cuts eliminated the old one. The city scraped the so-called referee positions last month. Those employees reviewed disputes and made decisions before a judge had to. Now there's no way to dispute a parking ticket online. You have to visit the Denver City and County building in person to request a court date, then argue your case in court, just like these folks.
I understand the city's in trouble budget-wise, but it doesn't seem like it's the right place to cut.
You have the ability to pay online, but not to dispute online.
Denver's Department of Transportation announced a new online ticket review program this afternoon. It will be funded by revenue from increased parking meter rates and higher fines. The hope is to get it up and running sometime next year.
Molson Coors says it is eliminating 400 positions by the end of the year. Molson Coors says the cuts will impact roughly 9% of their salaried workforce in the Americas. The company expects to pay between $35 and $50 million in severance and post-employment benefits after those layoffs. Not clear yet how many of those workers could be in Golden, Colorado.
The holiday season is going to look a little different in Parker this year. The town will not hold their annual Christmas parade. The Downtown Business Alliance has been putting on that parade for the past 3 years after taking over for the town. Well, the nonprofit announced this month they just don't have the money or the volunteers to do it for a 4th year. Instead, they plan to hold a day-long holiday market meant to support local businesses. They hope to bring back the parade in the future, but they say they'll need more support to be able to pull it off.
We would love to have more community groups come together, perhaps pool their resources. Maybe 3 organizations raise $20,000 each and then supply volunteers. And then it is a true community event.
The Downtown Business Alliance says the parade costs $57,000 to put on. They estimate the market will cost roughly half that, and they can bring back in some of what they spend.